Hello, everybody. I'm Candid Frank Stanisci of Candid Frank Live. Welcome to the Spanglish World Network on Zingo TV, channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app at the respective app stores for iOS and Android devices. While you download, make sure you rate and leave a comment. Both apps are absolutely free. Zingo TV is available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and also on all smart TVs 2016 forward. Now on Candid Frank Live, joining me is Aaron William Freeland. Aaron, thank you for being here.
How you doing today, Frank?
Good, and thank you for all the hard work you do, because I know you're always scouring the internet for information that you feel is valuable for our viewers and who become listeners, because this show is broadcast on video and then it's turned into a radio show. So double dipping is, I guess, the name of our game. And I got to tell you, before we went on air, you said, it's quite, we only have a half-hour show. So we're going to wait till Friday to talk about all the hockey stuff, right?
No, I think it's better in the long run. There's just too much activity going on right now. There's still deals breaking, so
yeah. I think that's a good idea. I can live with that. It's only 2 more days and a lot of stuff. Well, one thing we can mention is, will the Leafs regret trading Anderson?
Well, it's always something that comes to mind, right? Every single player seems to go on to have a spectacular career after leaving the Leafs. So, for all we know, congratulations to future Vezina winner Freddie Anderson.
The Leafs have never won a trade with Carolina. It has never happened. In fact, they traded a first-round draft choice back in the day. I'm sorry, I don't remember who the player was. He came, played for Toronto the end of the year, and went back to Carolina the next year. It was a defenseman. I'm trying to remember who it was. It doesn't matter.
Just one trade, man. That's all I want to win is one lousy trade.
Yeah, they could use a couple of wins. Speaking of trades, well, not really trades, but it seems Saint-Hubert, the barbecue company, the restaurant, may ditch the Canadiens after the controversial draft choice of Logan Mailloux.
Yeah, according to reports, the restaurant chain was actually surprised by the team's decisions, and they are considering pulling their advertising from Bell Center. That would be a bit of a loss to the Montreal Canadiens. It would definitely be a bit of a hit. They were in a statement. They just said, this is not something that we expected from the Canadiens. He doesn't seem to fit with their team profile or their team identity. So, it is rather disappointing in that regard. In addition, Mike Hoffman has also signed with the Montreal Canadiens. I don't know if anybody remembers him. Mm-hmm. But his wife was the one who harassed Erik Karlsson's wife after she had a miscarriage and created burner accounts on Twitter to harass her. So I'm not sure about this culture change that's currently going on in Montreal. I can just say
I don't think it's a culture change. It's just a change that has worked from the boardroom down to the ice level. That's all. Montreal's always been an organization that, well, look, I'll say one thing. Okay, one thing. The Montreal Canadiens gave Harold Ballard money so that he could maintain the ownership of the Toronto Maple Leafs. A loan came due. TD Bank held the loan. Harold Ballard needed money. He got the money from the Montreal Canadiens. And then he moved the team to the West Division after that. So questionable acts by the Montreal Canadiens are not a surprise to me. It's just the way it is. That's how you win. Nice guys finish last. Nice guys finish last.
I guess they're prioritizing results over, culture at this point.
Well, it's the way it's always been. They've always prioritized winning. Another one. Try this one on for size. Why do you think the Nordiques left Quebec?
No, that's very fair. I mean, if you have agents going around buying up Nordiques tickets and then having nobody show up, the arena looks bare. Pretty soon, nobody wants to show up. I mean, I'm not saying something like that.
They were fine. They were fine. They were fine. They had a team that was on the verge of winning the Stanley Cup. They were a pain in the behind to the Montreal Canadiens because their owner was Carling and Montreal's was Molson, and they were fighting a corporate war on the ice. And Montreal had a little more history in the National Hockey League than Quebec. And that's my view. And I don't think it's a coincidence that they left. You know, it's like I'll give you an example of what it's like. Donald Trump didn't say go beat up the Capitol Police, right? But he did stand by and watch them go and not do anything about it. So you don't have to. There doesn't have to be a proactive act to accomplish a goal that may be untoward. Just not doing anything can be an act. And I know you agree with that because you're a pretty smart guy. You know that kind of works sometimes, right? Just stepping out of the way can get you what you want.
Well, you know, choosing not to decide or being a bystander after providing the impetus is, you know, I mean, nobody looks at the guy that shoves the person in the wheelchair down the steps. They just look at what happens at the bottom.
Well, I think I'd like to see what happens at the time. Do something about that. You know that whoever pushes a person in a wheelchair down the stairs, they're going soon after if I'm around, and then I'm picking them up and beating them all the way to the top of the stairs where I can throw them down again.
You can't exactly do that with corporations, though. They've got too much money.
You can't. The Canadian Football League. This one wasn't on your thing. I just wanted to ask you. I don't know if you've seen the Calgary retro jerseys, and how do you feel about retro jerseys?
I love collecting jerseys. I am a huge fan of that sort of thing. Some, however, just seem like cash grabs. I usually prefer to collect those jerseys when there's a significant milestone that they're passing. This retro for retro's sake doesn't really sit all that well with me.
Oh, okay. So if it's the 50th anniversary of a team and they create a retro jersey, you're okay with that?
I'm okay with that. Yeah. If it's like the 83rd.
Right. Or the 13th or the 13th season.
Yeah, no. Why? 50, 75, 100, all worthwhile.
I see your point.
I'm for it, but you know,
I see your point and I can't disagree. Let's go to Tokyo where they're having the Olympics. I think it's day 5, right? Or the results of day 5 are in because, you know, while we're sleeping, a lot of stuff happens. After experiencing disappointment in Rio, Canada's Catherine Beauchemin-Pinard was feeling the overwhelming joy of an Olympic medal on Tuesday.
Yeah, it was actually great for her. She's from Saint-Hubert, Quebec, and she actually won a bronze in the women's under 63 kilogram competition. It was actually their second judo medal of the Olympics. There was actually another judoka who was completing, that would be Jessica Klimkate in the under 57 kilogram event, who won bronze as well shortly before Pinard completed her victory. So we're slowly but surely increasing our medal count, and the cool part is it all seems to be coming from the female athletes, the women. So that's pretty heartening to see.
Absolutely. Our Olympic women, their softball team, left Tokyo with a bronze after beating Mexico.
Yeah, and you know, getting there were obviously high hopes, but unfortunately dropping the game that they did put them in the bronze medal game. And you know, it's nice to see us advancing like that. The men unfortunately didn't do as well, but you know, these things happen.
Our country has been, for the most part, led by women when it comes to the Olympics. Historically, this is nothing new.
No, this is nothing new at all. Female athletes tend to do better, while the men's fundings get the lion's share of the lion's share of the funding. Unfortunately,
I don't agree. I disagree. I beg to differ. I think that now I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm going to put it in context. When it comes to the world, Canada has been far ahead of many other countries on how they treat their women. They may not treat them well enough, but they treat them better than most countries.
No, and that's fair. That is a fair assessment of it. Um,
In
yeah,
relation to other countries and how they spend their money, look at the Americans. I mean, they have a hard time. Their women's soccer, on the subject of soccer, their women's soccer team, very unhappy with how much the men get paid and how much they get paid. I don't want to get into a I don't want to get into a debate here, but I'm just saying. We've had a little bit of that. I think the biggest thing, if you take soccer in Canada, was the fact that the soccer coach, the great coach that the women's soccer team had, ended up coaching the men's team. They didn't like that too much.
no.
So it does happen. There's stuff that goes on. Maud Charon on her Olympic weightlifting gold. She said, "Just hearing the anthem with the rings and stuff, it chills everywhere."
No, this is absolutely fantastic for her. She finished first in the women's 64 kilogram competition after a successful lift of 131 kilograms. So that's pretty awesome. It was her third and final clean and jerk attempt. She also had the highest score in the snatch phase, lifting 105. So her 236 over the two phases was 4 better than Giorgia Bordignon of Italy and better than Wenhui Shen of Taiwan, who finished third. So success again there, seeming to come to us. And I am loving the fact that we are raking in medals where we don't necessarily seem to compete most of the time. So, I'll take it.
And it's not just about winning. Divers Benfeito and McKay, proud of performance despite narrowly missing the podium. They need to be celebrated as well for the very reasons you just mentioned.
Exactly. They narrowly missed the podium in the synchronized 10-meter event. It was a mistake on the fourth dive that put them out of medal position by just 0.54 points. That's how close it was. So,
weightlifter Maud Charon leads the way for Canadian women to win 4 more medals.
Yeah, and it was this is just, it's a fantastic haul for us, just watching it all come through like that.
Absolutely. Canada's Ellie Black withdraws from Olympic gymnastics all-round competition. She wasn't the famous one to back up, but still a great Canadian athlete. Sorry to see that happen. I'm not sure what were reasons given.
Well, during a training session, she actually sprained her ankle, so she was actually physically unable to continue. So that's unfortunate. She placed 5th in this event in the 2016 Rio Olympics, which was Canada's best ever result. I'm reasonably certain she probably could have done even better this time around, but they're hoping that she might still be able to compete in the balance beam final on August 3rd. So it doesn't seem to be a major strain, but unfortunately it's enough to keep her out for now.
Simone Biles cites mental health in exit from the Olympic team final. She said, "I felt like it would be better to take a back seat." I'd like to also mention that this is not someone who's sheepish about playing hurt. She won a medal in the last Olympics on a bad ankle.
Yeah, no, Simone Biles taking the time off now to look after her is, I think, important. As she stated herself, she felt that she would be a drag on the team, and the best thing to do would be for her to step away from the final event. Now, the Americans still won silver. Her teammates definitely showed out for that, but it's one of those things where you have to make a decision. Do I try to push through, even if I'm not 100% there mentally, and risk potentially a career-ending injury? Or, do I step back and let my teammates carry the load? I mean, she's already won 25 different medals between world championships and regionals and Olympics. I don't think she has anything else to prove to the world at this point. Another one of the issues that she's facing is she has to dumb down her routines because the IOC has refused to score her correctly for some of the tricks that she does.
Tricks that she does.
That
she
only
has
she
a
does.
list.
Exactly.
She has a list of tricks she does.
Yeah. So it's difficult, to face something like that. The expectations are that much higher, but at the same time, the IOC isn't then necessarily reward you at the end of the day. And if she's not 100% focused, then the risk of a career-ending and even potentially life-ending injury is huge.
Yeah, she expressed that the mental is not there.
Yeah.
So she's having some issues mentally getting behind what she's doing. And let's be clear, we cannot overstate, you were 100% right, that injuries can happen. A lot of the moves that gymnasts make, they're 10, 12 feet in the air, and they're basically, how can I phrase this? They're really not sure where they are when they're doing it. They need to be very, 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 and did I mention very focused on where they are. They have to know 100%. I won't exaggerate, and I won't say 120%. 100%. That's as much as you need, as you can focus, and they need to be able to do that because, as you said, if they misjudge where they are in that move, whether it's on the sawhorse, whether it's on the rings, or whether it's even on the floor, bad in a matter of a split second, really bad things can happen, and they've happened, and it takes a lot of bravery, to emotionally feel comfortable enough to accept that maybe you're not quite there. It takes a lot of bravery because no athlete wants to even give the impression, and especially great athletes like her, which I would not use this word on her, which is giving up or fear. I think for her it's less about fear, it's more about logic, and she's been through a lot. Don't forget, she survived abuse, and then this pandemic. So she's a young lady who's only 24 years old, and she's lived a full life already, not only during the Olympics, not only on the podium, but even in the worst possible experience that a young girl could have.
No, and honestly, good on her for doing this, because it's something
Absolutely.
that she needs to do for her, to
Absolutely.
protect herself. So
We
good
agree
on her.
then.
Oh yes.
That was easy. I think that's probably the best agreement we've had yet since we've done this together. No Olympic gold for Naomi Osaka after startling upset. Number 2 loses to Marketa Vondrasova.
Yeah, this was a bit of a surprise. I don't think anybody was expecting this. Osaka was the number 2 seed in the tournament, and Ash Barty was actually eliminated in the first round. She was the number 1 seed. So, going into this match, Vondrasova was a 2019 French Open finalist, but is currently sitting at 42 in the world rankings, while Osaka is the world's highest paid female athlete, sitting at number 2. So, this was a bit of a shock, but it leaves the door open for somebody else. So we'll have to see how this shakes out.
Well, hey, Penny Olesiak, record-breaking medal to a disappointing end for Canada's tennis team. Here are 5 things to need to know on Wednesday at the 2020 Olympic Games. Disappointed that the men didn't do well, but tell us about these 5 things.
Right. So, first thing to look at, Penny Olesiak has 6, which makes her the most decorated summer athlete in Canadian history. Not to mention Haley Daniels, who made Canadian canoe history when she competed in the women's C1 canoe slalom. Now, she didn't advance out of the qualifying heats, but her biggest victory was being able to compete at all. She was actually amongst athletes who fought for 12 years for women to be able to participate in an Olympic canoe slalom race. Men have been able to do it for the past 85, but she's had to fight for the past 12 years just to do so. So that's pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
Now, Felix Auger-Aliassime and Gabriela Dabrowski unfortunately fell 6-3, 6-4 to the Greek tandem of Stefanos Tsitsipas and Maria Sakkari on the opening day of mixed doubles. So far, we've only managed to win 1 match in Tokyo, and that would be Leylah Fernandez's women's singles opener. So, unfortunately, we're not going to be competing in that.
No.
Now, the other thing that we have to remember here as well, the other thing that I wanted to mention was that the U.S. men's basketball team finally managed to win a game, 120-66, over that well-known basketball powerhouse, Iran.
Uh-huh. Okay. So, and the Jays have not played well. They've not done well against Boston. They they're still in the hunt for a wild card, but they got to play better. They're at home now, so I mean at the real home, we should see a better change for them, hopefully.
Well, they did get off to a better start this afternoon. They won 4-1 in the first game of the doubleheader. The second game is currently ongoing, but a lot of disappointed fans out there.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think of the 7-inning doubleheader?
Personally, I'm a fan. I like that. What I'm not so much a fan of is because this is a rescheduled doubleheader. This game was originally supposed to be played on July 20th. Because it's been rescheduled, they actually have to clear the stadium before bringing the next group in.
Oh,
yeah, because
they've got the tickets that were bought for that game.
Exactly. Gotcha. So a lot of fans are a little confused and upset by that, but I mean, it is the way it is. It's going to be the same thing in August, in about another week and a half or so when they play another doubleheader for another rescheduled game. Yeah. So
I want you and everybody else to know who are lacrosse fans, tomorrow at 4:00, we have Commissioner Sakavitz will be on the show to talk to us about the National Lacrosse League. Looking forward to that.
I'll make sure you guys ask him the tough questions, like who's got the best uniform design.
Send them to me. Ottawa hands $5.2 billion to troubled Muskrat Falls hydro project.
So this is something that our Newfoundland fans will be interested in. They're throwing another $5.2 billion at it. And now Trudeau was actually there to help announce the fact that Newfoundland and Labrador is actually going to be participating in the $10 a day childcare program that they're starting up as well. Newfoundland is actually the 4th province to join. Part of what they're doing with Muskrat Falls is because of cost overruns. It's been years, and Muskrat Falls was originally supposed to be built for $7.4 billion.
Yeah, what else is new?
But costs ballooned to $13.1 billion. So as it currently stands, the province has projected that they're about to have an $826 million deficit, coupled with $17.2 billion in net debt. So Trudeau coming to Newfoundland to announce this additional bit of funding also means that they'll be able to help keep power bills low once Muskrat Falls comes online.
Okay, so let's leave it there. Hate crimes rose sharply in 2020, while other crimes have dropped.
Yeah, so police are reporting that crimes are regular crimes are down. However, hate crimes rose to 2,669 reported incidents in 2020, up from 1,951. When you look at all the different figures that are available out there, crimes against Black folk rose by 92%, while hate crimes targeting East or Southeast Asian people rose by 300%. Yikes. Indigenous hate crimes were up 152%, and the South Asian population in Canada saw an additional 38 incidents. So we're looking at an increase there of 47%. Wow. A lot of this can be attributable to ignorance about certain events happening globally, shall we say?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's a disturbing trend, to say the least.
Many people don't realize we have wildfires in Ontario, and Premier Ford says he's going to throw some money at it.
Yeah, this is actually welcome relief for individuals in the Thunder Bay area, especially along the Manitoba border. I don't know if you've been noticing the hazy skies, but that's a little bit of the smoke coming our way.
Or as they say in Thunder Bay, no, just kidding. So climate change. We're looking for white-tailed deer in Montreal. What?
Yeah, so there were deer in a park. There were about 14 or 15 of them at the start, and they said, well, we're going to cull the herd and try to cut that down. But animal rights activists said, no, you can't. So in the meantime, while they've been trying to figure it out, they've been breeding. So now there's about 70 of them living in a park in Longueuil, which is about 5 times as many as that actual park can handle. So
fantastic. Thanks, Aaron. We'll have to leave it there.
Thanks a lot, Frank.
Well, for Aaron William Freeland, I'm Candid Frank Stanisci. Thank you for watching Candid Frank Live, Aaron. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish World Radio Network. For Candid Frank Live, other news and entertainment sports programming we offer, please check out spanglishworld.ca. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Thank you for watching. Ciao for now.